Welcome to this journey back in time, to one of the world's oldest and most mysterious civilizations, the Indus Valley Civilization. More than 4,500 years ago, while the pyramids were rising in Egypt and kings were ruling in Mesopotamia, something amazing was happening in South Asia. Along the banks of the Indus River, in what is now Pakistan and northwest India, a great civilization was growing. It had large cities, clever engineers, skilled artists, and people who lived in organized communities. This was the Indus Valley Civilization, also known as the Harappan Civilization, and it was far ahead of its time. Why is this civilization so inspiring? Because even without modern tools, electricity, or machines, the people of the Indus Valley built cities with straight roads, proper drainage systems, and well-planned houses. Their cities were clean and smartly designed, something even some modern cities struggle with today. One of the most famous cities was Mohenjo-Daro, which means Mound of the Dead. But don't worry, it was once a lively and beautiful place with large public buildings, marketplaces, and homes made of baked bricks. Another key city was Harappa, where archaeologists first discovered the remains of this lost civilization. The people of the Indus Valley were peaceful. They didn't build big temples or statues of kings. They didn't fight many wars. Instead, they focused on living well, working hard, and trading with faraway lands like Mesopotamia. They made beautiful pottery, jewelry, and seals with pictures of animals and symbols. These small seals still puzzle historians today, as no one has yet been able to read the script they used. Listening to the story of the Indus Valley is like opening a window into the past. It teaches us about human creativity, teamwork, and the power of living in harmony with nature. It also reminds us how much we can learn from people who lived thousands of years ago. In this video, you'll hear about how the civilization began, where it grew, how its people lived, what they believed, and how this great society slowly disappeared. Each chapter will take you deeper into a time when there were no countries or borders, just people building something incredible together. So sit back, listen closely, and imagine walking down the straight, clean roads of Mohenjo-Daro or hearing the sound of craftsmen shaping tools and ornaments. You are about to explore one of the world's greatest ancient mysteries, the story of the Indus Valley Civilization. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Origins and Discovery of the Indus Valley Civilization. Long ago, about 4,500 years in the past, a great civilization began to grow in South Asia. This civilization is called the Indus Valley Civilization. It started near a big river called the Indus River, which flows through today's Pakistan and parts of northwest India. The people of the Indus Valley built their homes, towns, and cities near this river. The river gave them water for farming, drinking, and washing. It also helped them travel and trade with other people. Life near the river was good, and it helped their civilization grow strong and large. For a long time, no one knew about the Indus Valley Civilization. It was hidden under the ground. The people who once lived there were gone. Their buildings were broken, and the land had covered their cities. Thousands of years passed. Then, in the year 1921, something exciting happened. A group of British and Indian archaeologists started digging near a place called Harappa, in modern-day Pakistan. They found old bricks, broken tools, and pieces of pottery. They saw that these things were very, very old, even older than the pyramids of Egypt. This was the first time people found signs of the Indus Valley Civilization. That is why it is also called the Harappan Civilization, named after the first site they discovered. 1 year later, in 1922, more digging was done in another place called Mohenjo-Daro, which means Mound of the Dead. This was another large city, full of buildings, streets, and even a big water tank. It looked like a well-planned city. The roads were straight. The houses were made with bricks. There was even a smart drainage system for dirty water. This showed that the people of the Indus Valley were very clever. More cities were later found, such as Dhalavira, Lothal, and Kalibangan. These cities told us many things about how people lived during that time. They had farms, animals, and many kinds of tools and jewelry. They even had small seals with pictures and writing. No one can read this writing today, but it shows that they had their own language. The discovery of the Indus Valley Civilization surprised the world. Before this, people thought that Indian history started with later groups like the Aryans. But the Indus Valley showed that there was a great and peaceful civilization in India long before that. The story of the Indus Valley began with the river. It helped people live, work, and build strong cities. Then it stayed quiet for thousands of years, buried under the earth. Thanks to the work of archaeologists, this lost civilization is now found again. And today, we are learning more and more about the amazing people who once lived there. Chapter 2. Geographical Extent and Major Sites. The Indus Valley Civilization was one of the largest ancient civilizations in the world. It covered a very big area in South Asia. This area is now part of India, Pakistan, and a little part of Afghanistan. The civilization began near the Indus River, which flows from the mountains in the north down to the Arabian Sea. Many cities and towns were built along this river. That is why it is called the Indus Valley Civilization. But the people did not live only near the Indus River. They also lived near other rivers, like the Ghaggar-Hakra River in India. This shows that the civilization spread far and wide. The area covered more than 1 million square kilometers, which is bigger than many countries today. Now let's talk about the major sites, the most important cities and towns of this civilization. The first important site is Harappa. It was the first city to be discovered by archaeologists in 1921. That is why the civilization is also called the Harappan civilization. Harappa had big buildings, streets, and a strong wall around the city. People lived in houses made of bricks, and there were many wells for water. The second major site is Mohenjo-Daro, found in 1922. It is one of the best-known cities of the Indus Valley. Mohenjo-Daro had wide roads, brick houses, and a smart drainage system. It also had a large water tank called the Great Bath. People may have used it for cleaning or religious purposes. Another important site is Dhalavira, located in the present-day state of Gujarat in India. Dhalavira was built on an island between two rivers. It had strong city walls, water storage systems, and open spaces. It shows us that the people were good at planning cities and saving water. Lothal is also a major site in Gujarat. It is very special because it had a dockyard, a place where boats could stop and trade goods. This tells us that the people of the Indus Valley traded with other lands using boats and ships. Another site is Kalibangan, found in the state of Rajasthan, India. This site had many small fire altars and farming tools. It tells us that people here believed in fire rituals and were good farmers. There are also other sites like Banawali, Rakagari, and Shanhudaro. All these places show that the civilization had many cities, towns, and villages spread over a large area. In total, more than 1,000 sites of the Indus Valley Civilization have been found. Some are big cities, and others are small villages. They were all connected in some way, and they all followed similar styles of building and living. The large size of the civilization shows how powerful and organized it was. People lived in different places, but they shared ideas, tools, and ways of life. They were part of one big family, the Great Indus Valley Civilization. Chapter 3. Urban Planning and Architecture. The Indus Valley Civilization was famous for its amazing urban planning and architecture. This means the people knew how to build cities in a smart and organized way. The cities of the Indus Valley were not built by chance. They were carefully planned. The streets were straight and crossed each other at right angles, like a grid. This made it easy for people to walk, travel, and move goods around the city. The cities were usually divided into two parts. The first part was called the citadel. It was built on a high platform, or hill, using mud bricks. Important buildings like storehouses, baths, and meeting places were in the citadel. Only special people, like leaders or priests, lived and worked in this area. The second part was the lower town, where most people lived. It had houses, shops, and small workshops. The houses were made of baked bricks and had strong walls. Some houses were 1 floor, and some were 2 floors high. Many houses had a courtyard in the middle. People used this space for cooking, working, or sitting with family. One of the most amazing things about Indus cities was their drainage system. Every house had a bathroom, and dirty water went into covered drains outside. These drains ran along the streets and took the wastewater away from the city. No other ancient civilization had such a clean and smart system at that time. The people also built wells inside or near their homes. These wells gave clean water for drinking, cooking, and washing. Some cities had hundreds of wells. This shows that water was very important to them. In the city of Mohenjo-daro, there was a very special building called the Great Bath. It was a large, deep tank made of bricks. It had steps on both sides and was filled with water. People may have used it for bathing or for religious ceremonies. There were also changing rooms and drains near the bath. It is one of the oldest public water tanks in the world. In cities like Dhalavira, people built big water storage systems using stone. This helped them save water during dry months. Dhalavira also had wide gates, open spaces, and big walls around the city. Most cities did not have big temples or statues. This shows that the people were more focused on daily life, trade, and cleanliness. They were peaceful and practical. The bricks used in buildings were all the same size. This means the builders followed rules and worked together. Their tools and materials were simple, but they built cities that were strong and safe. In conclusion, the people of the Indus Valley were great builders and planners. Their cities were clean, well organized, and comfortable to live in. Even today, we can learn from how they planned their cities. Their work shows us how smart and advanced this ancient civilization really was. Chapter 4: Society and Daily Life. The people of the Indus Valley Civilization lived simple, peaceful, and well-organized lives. Their society was made up of farmers, traders, craftsmen, and workers. They lived together in large cities and small villages. Everyone had an important role to play in the community. Most people lived in brick houses. Some houses were big, while others were small. Bigger houses may have belonged to richer families. Houses had flat roofs and were often built around a central courtyard. The courtyard was an open space where families cooked food, did chores, or sat together. Clothing in the Indus Valley was simple. Men wore cloth wrapped around the waist and shoulder. Women wore long dresses and often used jewelry to decorate themselves. Both men and women liked to wear ornaments. They wore necklaces, bangles, and earrings made of gold, silver, or beads. Many people also used combs, mirrors, and small boxes to keep their things. Food was an important part of daily life. People grew wheat, barley, rice, and peas. They also kept animals like cows, goats, and sheep. Some people went fishing or hunted wild animals. They cooked their food on fire using clay pots. They also made bread and drank milk. Many families had storage jars in their homes to keep grains and water. Children played with toys made of clay and wood. These toys included carts with wheels, animal figures, and small dolls. Some toys could move, which shows how creative the people were. Games and fun were part of their daily life. Craftsmen were important in Indus Valley society. They made things from clay, metal, and stone. They created beautiful pottery, tools, and jewelry. Some people worked as weavers, making cloth from cotton. Others were carpenters, metal workers, or stone cutters. Their work was used in homes, trade, and daily life. Traders bought and sold goods in the city and with faraway lands. They used small seals to mark their items. These seals had pictures of animals and signs, and were made from stone. The people may have traded with people from Mesopotamia, a faraway land, using boats and carts. We do not know much about the religion of the Indus Valley people, but they believed in nature. They respected water, trees, and animals. Some seals show a figure sitting in a special way. It might be a god or a holy person. Small clay statues of women may show the idea of a mother goddess, which means they prayed for good crops and healthy families. The Indus Valley people also liked to keep their cities clean. The drainage system helped keep dirty water away. They took care of their homes, streets, and water sources. In summary, the daily life of the Indus Valley people was peaceful, busy, and well managed. They lived in clean homes, worked hard, wore simple clothes, and cared for their families. Their way of life shows us that they were smart, kind, and ahead of their time. Chapter 5: Economy, Trade, and Agriculture. The Indus Valley Civilization had a strong and smart economy. This means the people knew how to earn, save, and use money or goods. Their economy was based on farming, trading, and craft work. Most people in the Indus Valley were farmers. They grew many kinds of crops. The main crops were wheat, barley, rice, and millets. They also grew cotton, which was used to make cloth. Some farmers grew vegetables and fruits like melons and dates. The farmers used tools made of wood and metal to plow the land. They used bulls or oxen to help with farming. People also used water from rivers and wells to grow their crops. They followed the seasons and planted their seeds before the rains came. The Indus Valley people also kept animals like cows, goats, buffaloes, and sheep. These animals gave them milk, meat, wool, and helped them in the fields. Some people also raised chickens and used camels or donkeys for carrying goods. Another big part of their economy was trade. Trade means buying and selling things. The people of the Indus Valley traded with other cities and even with people in faraway lands like Mesopotamia. They traded goods by boats, bullock carts, and by walking in groups. They gave things like cotton cloth, jewelry, beads, metal tools, and pottery. In return, they got things like gold, silver, copper, and precious stones. This exchange of goods helped their cities grow rich and busy. Markets were important in their cities. People came to markets to buy and sell food, clothes, tools, and other daily needs. Traders used weights and measures to make fair deals. These weights were made of stone and were all the same size. This shows they were honest and organized in trade. The Indus people also made seals to mark their goods. These seals had pictures of animals and symbols. They may have worked like a name tag, showing who owned the goods or where they came from. Craftsmen played a big role in the economy too. They made beautiful pots, tools, toys, weapons, and jewelry. They worked with clay, metal, stone, and shells. Some of the items they made were used in daily life, and some were sold in markets or sent to other places through trade. In cities like Lothal, people built a dockyard. This was a place for ships to stop and load goods. It shows that sea trade was also important. In summary, the Indus Valley people worked hard in farming, crafting, and trading. They used smart methods to grow food, made useful and beautiful items, and traded with both local and faraway people. Their strong economy helped their cities become rich, clean, and well-planned. Chapter 6: Art, Craft, and Technology. The people of the Indus Valley Civilization were very talented in art, craft, and technology. Even though they lived thousands of years ago, they made many beautiful and useful things with simple tools. Their work shows that they were creative, skilled, and smart. Let's start with art and craft. The people made many objects using clay, stone, metal, and shells. They created pots, toys, jewelry, and tools. Each item was made with great care and detail. They made beautiful pottery with red and black colors. The pots had simple but lovely designs, like lines, circles, and pictures of animals. These pots were used for cooking, storing food, or carrying water. Toys were also common. Children played with clay toys such as small carts, animal figures, and whistles. Some toys had wheels that could move. This shows that the people loved to have fun and cared about their children. Jewelry was made for both men and women. People wore necklaces, rings, bangles, and earrings. They used gold, silver, copper, beads, and even seashells. The beads were small and colorful. Some were round, while others were long or square. Making these tiny beads needed great skill. The people were also very good at making tools and objects from metal. They used copper, bronze, and tin to make knives, axes, mirrors, and fish hooks. These tools helped in farming, cooking, and daily work. One of the most special items from the Indus Valley is the dancing girl statue. It is a small bronze figure of a young girl standing in a dance pose. She wears many bangles and looks very confident. This statue shows that the people knew how to make art that looked real and full of life. Another great craft of the Indus Valley was their seals. These were small square pieces made of stone. They had pictures of animals, humans, and symbols. Some seals show a man sitting in a special way, and others show bulls, tigers, or elephants. The symbols may be a kind of writing, but no one has read them yet. The seals were likely used in trade, or for marking goods. Now let's talk about technology. The people used standard weights and measures in trade. This helped them do fair business. They also had drainage systems, water wells, and bathrooms inside their homes. These things show that they understood science and engineering well. In Dhalavira, they even built water tanks and stepwells to store water. This was very smart, especially in dry areas. In Lothal, they built a dockyard to help ships and boats bring goods from other places. In summary, the Indus Valley people were true artists, skilled workers, and clever inventors. Their art was beautiful, their crafts were useful, and their technology was far ahead of their time. Their work still teaches us how ancient people used creativity and hard work to build a better life. Chapter 7: Language and Script. The Indus Valley Civilization had its own language and script. A script is a set of symbols or signs that people use to write words. The people of the Indus Valley used a special script, but the truth is, we still do not understand it fully today. Archaeologists have found thousands of seals and small pieces of stone, metal, and pottery with writing on them. These writings are short, with only a few symbols. Most of them have between 4 and 6 signs. The signs are small, but very neat and carefully made. This writing is called the Indus script. It has over 400 different signs. Some signs look like animals, plants, or tools. Others are just lines or shapes. People wrote these signs from right to left, and sometimes in the opposite direction too. The script was mostly used on seals, which are small, flat objects made of stone. These seals had pictures of animals, such as bulls, elephants, and tigers. Below the picture, there was a line of writing. The seals may have been used for trade, ownership, or identity. For example, a seal could tell who the goods belonged to, or who made them. The Indus script is one of the oldest writing systems in the world. It was used around 2600 to 1900 BCE. That means people in the Indus Valley were writing long before many other ancient civilizations. Even though we have found many examples of this script, no one has been able to read it yet. This is because the signs do not look like any known language today. Also, we have not found long texts, books, or sentences, only short pieces. Without a Rosetta Stone, a tool that helped decode Egyptian writing, it is hard to know what the signs mean. Many experts have tried to understand the script. Some think it may be related to modern Indian languages like Tamil. Others believe it is a unique language that disappeared over time. Until now, there is no final answer. Even though we cannot read their writing, it still tells us something. It shows that the Indus people were educated. They had a system to record names, trade, or messages. They also had artists and scribes who made these signs with care and skill. It is also possible that not everyone in the society could write. Maybe only special people, like traders or leaders, used the script. This is like in other ancient cultures, where writing was used by only a few. In conclusion, the language and script of the Indus Valley Civilization are still a mystery. But it is clear that they had a smart and organized way to share information. One day, we may finally read their words and learn more about how they lived, worked, and thought. Until then, their writing remains a beautiful and silent message from the past. Chapter 8: Religion and Belief Systems. The people of the Indus Valley Civilization had their own religion and belief systems. We do not know everything about their religion, but from the things they left behind, we can understand some parts of what they believed. Unlike other ancient civilizations, the Indus Valley people did not build big temples or statues of gods. But they did make small figures, seals, and symbols that give us clues about their beliefs. One important figure found in many places is the Mother Goddess. She is a small clay statue of a woman with big hips and large eyes. People may have prayed to her for good crops, healthy children, and protection. This shows that they believed in the power of motherhood and nature. Some seals show a man sitting in a special cross-legged pose. He has many animals around him, like elephants, tigers, and buffaloes. Some people believe he may be an early form of Lord Shiva, a god still worshipped in India today. This figure is sometimes called the Pashupati, or Lord of Animals. The Indus Valley people also respected nature. Many seals have pictures of trees, animals, and water. This shows that they believed nature was holy and important for life. The peepal tree and bull were special symbols. Even today, these are respected in many parts of India. They may have believed in life after death too. In some graves, people were buried with pots, tools, and jewelry. This may mean they thought the dead person would need these things in the next life. The way they buried people tells us that they had rituals and ceremonies for the dead. One of the most interesting buildings is the Great Bath in Mohenjo-daro. It was a large water tank made of bricks. People went down steps to enter the water. It may have been used for religious bathing or cleansing. This shows they believed in purity and cleanliness, not just for the body but also for the soul. Fire was also important. In cities like Kalibangan, there were fire altars. These were small spaces where people may have made offerings to fire. Even today, fire is used in many Indian religious rituals. This shows a connection between past and present beliefs. They also used amulets and small charms, possibly to protect themselves from bad luck or evil. These small objects may have been worn around the neck or kept in the home. In summary, the religion of the Indus Valley Civilization was deeply connected to nature, animals, motherhood, and clean living. They did not build grand temples or write holy books, but they showed their beliefs through symbols, rituals, and daily life. Even though we do not know all the details, we can see that the Indus people were spiritual, peaceful, and close to nature. Their simple and meaningful beliefs still inspire us today. Chapter 9: Decline and Theories of Collapse. The Indus Valley Civilization was one of the greatest in the ancient world. It had big cities, clean streets, smart buildings, and a peaceful life. But after many years, something happened. The civilization slowly declined. This means it became weaker and finally came to an end. This happened around 1900 BCE. People started to leave the cities. The big cities like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, and Dhalavira became empty. The beautiful buildings broke down, and the strong walls fell. Farmers, traders, and workers all began to move away. But why did this happen? Even today, no one knows for sure. But there are some theories or ideas about why the Indus Valley Civilization collapsed. Let's look at some of them. One reason could be climate change. The Indus people needed water to live. They built their cities near rivers. But around 1900 BCE, the climate became dry. The rivers changed their path, and some rivers, like the Ghaggar Hakra, may have dried up. Without water, people could not grow food or stay in the same place. So, they had to leave. Another reason could be floods. In cities like Mohenjo-daro, archaeologists found signs of many floods. These floods may have damaged homes, roads, and farms. After many floods, people may have decided to move to safer places. A third theory is earthquakes. The Indus Valley area is near the Himalaya mountains, where earthquakes can happen. A big earthquake may have broken the land, changed river paths, or destroyed cities. If that happened, life would have become very hard. Some people believe there was a change in trade. The Indus people traded with faraway places like Mesopotamia. But if trade stopped or became difficult, the economy may have become weak. Without trade, cities could not grow, and people may have had to leave. Another idea is that new groups of people called the Aryans may have come into the area. Some believe they fought with the Indus people or brought new ways of living. But there is no clear proof of a big war or attack. Most experts believe that the fall of the Indus Valley was slow, not sudden. It is also possible that the soil became poor. After many years of farming, the land may not have grown enough food. People may have moved to other places with better land. In the end, the Indus Valley Civilization did not disappear in one day. It slowly changed. People left the big cities and moved to smaller villages. They started new lives in other places. But they did not forget everything. Some of their ideas, like town planning and clean water systems, may have been passed down to future generations. In summary, the reasons for the fall of the Indus Valley Civilization are still a mystery. It could be because of climate change, floods, earthquakes, trade problems, or farming issues. Maybe it was all of these together. But one thing is clear. The Indus people left behind a rich and amazing history that still teaches us today. Chapter 10: Legacy and Influence on Later Civilizations. The Indus Valley Civilization ended a long time ago, but its legacy, the things it left behind, is still strong. Even though the cities became empty, the ideas, skills, and ways of life of the Indus people did not disappear. Many of their ideas influenced later civilizations in India and other parts of the world. One of the biggest legacies of the Indus Valley Civilization is its smart city planning. The Indus people built cities with straight roads, drainage systems, and wells. Later Indian cities, such as those in the early Vedic period, also used some of these ideas. The use of bricks, clean streets, and planned buildings became common in Indian towns and villages. Their focus on cleanliness and hygiene also left a mark. In many Indus homes, there were bathrooms, toilets, and drains, something not seen in many other ancient civilizations. Even today, clean water and proper toilets are seen as important parts of Indian life. This idea may have come from the Indus people. The Indus people were also peaceful. They did not build big forts or many weapons. Later Indian cultures also believed in peace, respect for nature, and spiritual life. These values can be seen in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, three great religions that started in India. Some symbols used by the Indus people are still used today. For example, the swastika, a symbol found on many seals, is still used in Hindu and Buddhist rituals. The peepal tree and bull, which were important to Indus people, are still respected in Indian religion and culture. The mother goddess figure is another important legacy. Later Indian religions also had goddesses, such as Durga, Lakshmi, and Parvati. This shows that the idea of a strong female power may have started with the Indus people. Their love for art and craft also continued. Many Indian villages today still make pottery, jewelry, and beads in ways that are similar to those of the Indus Valley. The use of cotton cloth, which may have begun in the Indus Valley, also became a part of Indian life and trade. Even though the Indus script has not been read yet, it showed that the people were smart and had a system of writing. Later scripts in India, such as Brahmi, may have come from this early writing system, even if they look different. The Indus people also knew how to trade, both in India and with faraway lands. This spirit of trade and travel became a strong part of Indian culture later on, with great trading cities and sea routes. In summary, the Indus Valley Civilization gave the world many great ideas. Clean cities, smart buildings, peaceful life, strong trade, beautiful art, and a deep respect for nature and gods. Even though the civilization ended, its influence can still be seen in India today. It was the beginning of a long and rich story that continues to grow and inspire the world. Vocabularies. 1. Civilization. A group of people living together in cities with organized laws, culture, and technology. 2. Archaeologist. A person who studies old places, objects, and buildings to learn about people from the past. 3. Drainage. A system for removing dirty water from houses or streets. 4. Trade. The action of buying, selling, or exchanging goods and services. 5. Craftsman. A person who makes things skillfully by hand, like pottery or jewelry. 6. Script. A set of symbols or signs used for writing a language. 7. Religion. A set of beliefs about gods, nature, and the meaning of life. 8. Collapse, a sudden or slow fall or end of something, such as a city or civilization. 9. Legacy, something important left behind by people from the past, like ideas or inventions. 10. Peaceful, quiet, calm, and not fighting with others. Quiz questions. 1. What river was most important to the start of the Indus Valley Civilization? 2. Name any 2 major cities of the Indus Valley Civilization. 3. What special system did the Indus cities have to remove dirty water? 4. What type of clothes did men and women in the Indus Valley usually wear? 5. What was one main crop grown by farmers in the Indus Valley? 6. What small statue shows a confident girl in a dance pose? 7. What is the name of the script used by the Indus Valley people? 8. What was the Great Bath most likely used for? 9. Name one possible reason why the Indus Valley Civilization declined. 10. What symbol from the Indus Valley is still used in Indian culture today? Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed learning with us. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. Your support helps us grow and bring you more inspiring stories and easy English learning content. Do you have a topic you'd like us to cover in our next video? Maybe a famous person, an invention, or a country? Let us know in the comments or messages. We'd love to hear your ideas. You can find answers in the description. Thanks again, and keep learning with us. See you in the next video.